Hey, and welcome back to another run of Pokemon Infinite Fusion. It's a fan-made game with over 200,000 different custom sprites. The game will keep you guessing every single time you play. What will you fuse? How do you fuse? It's all up to you. The variations are always going to be different, so it's really quite exciting and refreshing. Today, we're going to be doing a Nuzlocke version of this game. What's a Nuzlocke, you might be asking? The rules are pretty straightforward. A Pokemon's defeat results in it being boxed, it's considered retired, aka dead. The level cap is determined by the gym's next ace Pokemon, active items are strictly off limits, set mode is the only mode allowed, and only the first Pokemon encountered in every new area is considered eligible for capture. Alright folks, buckle up! But before we do dive into this Pokemon adventure that took more prep time than Pikachu's shock therapy, do me a solid. Give the video a thumbs up if it tickled your funny bone, and spill your thoughts in the comments below. Because did you know, I have over 20,000 people watching my videos every week, and only 0.5% of them are actually subscribed. So be the MVP, and sub. Alright, let's jump right into the run. It is time to do Pokemon Infinite Fusion Nuzlocke. So I went ahead and chose a Baneri to start off my Pokemon journey. I quickly and sadly lost to my rival before picking up a quest from Professor Oak to go to the Pokemart to pick up a parcel and then send it back to him. I did that in record-breaking time, and for my speedy efforts, I received the Pokedex and 5 Pokeballs. So I ran straight to Route 1 and caught myself a Shedinja. And on Route 22, I caught a little Abra. And on Route 2, I caught a Hoppip. And finally, I caught an Azurill in Viridian Forest. So I went ahead and fused my Azurill and my Baneri to create something really cute. A Bunrill. Keeping up the fusions, I decided to fuse my Hoppip and my Abra, and I got Hopra! And with my 2 new fusions, it was time to challenge Brock. He sends out a GOG, which I'm able to take out with no sweat with 2 water guns. But out comes Omochao, which looks like an Omanyte with some antennae. The battle was a little bit fierce, but again, water gun, and I win. Haha. Having drowned Brock in my water guns, it was time to move over to Mount Moon. But before doing that, I was stopped by a scientist who told me that there were Pokemon with hidden abilities in this area of grass. So I went ahead and caught myself a Shinx, traded 500 bucks for a Magikarp, and was about to enter Mount Moon when Nurse Joy actually stopped me, as did Brock, saying that there are some thugs inside Mount Moon. Being the awesome person that I am, I actually agreed to go help them. So I went into Mount Moon to get rid of them all. But first I found a Natu and caught it. Decided to fuse it immediately with my Shedinja. I created a Shed2. I fused Magikarp and Shinx together to create Shikarp. Bunrill decided to evolve into another Bunrill, and with all of that, it was time to get rid of Team Rocket. Giovanni was doing some really weird experiments trying to fuse 3 Pokemon together, and decided to slick his scientist onto us, who sent out this little Pidmuku, which we demolished. Giovanni, bitter with defeat, decides to leave, and thanks to that, I was able to collect myself a fossil. Hopra decided to evolve, giving us Hopra. Shikarp also wanted to evolve into Lucarp, and over in Nugget Bridge, we were stopped by this person who I suspect is our rival, Jacko. So he sends out a bug that has a gigantic egg as a head. We get slapped around a little bit with Bullet Seed, which is a little bit scary because I am not in the mood to lose Bunrill. A Super Potion does come out and he heals up, and it was time to just destroy him. He pops up a Reflect, but I'm not really that concerned because I'm going to swap out to one of my brand new Pokemon, my Hopra. Hopra takes the Bullet Seed like an absolute champion. And with a Confusion, we take it out. Out comes this little teddy bat. We have bats in Australia, but none of them are as cute as a little teddy bat. I would love that. But I got really scared, so I had to send out my Shed2, hoping I can do a little bit of damage. Shed2 was able to take it out with a couple of pecks, easy peasy. Out comes our rival's massive Pokemon, Sandy Lurk. I keep on pecking. Peck, 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 peck. Peck, 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 peck. Oh look, it worked. That pecking. Out comes a Mudine. It looks so strange. Like, what is that on top of its head? It's just Mudkip with a couple of fins. He does Foresight, and I'm gonna admit, that scared me because that means he can hit me, and I have Wonder Guard. So I have to send out Lucarp, my Curse Gyarados Shinx fusion. Spark doing significant damage and taking it out. And just like that, we beat our rival Jacko. We caught an Eevee on Route 24 before heading over to Bill, who again had turned himself into a Pokemon. This fool needed our help, so we decided we would, out of the goodness of our hearts, not expecting anything in return. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So we wanted to do that, but before we could actually go over to the boat, we needed to beat down Misty. She sends out a Bunkader, and this thing has nothing on our own Baneri. Our Bunrill smashes it down with Pound and Quick Attack, and quickly take it out. We're not too stressed, especially when a Sandortle comes out, because I know in my heart of hearts that this thing has nothing on us. He uses Swift, I get a little bit scared, so I decide to swap off to my Happy Chop, which I actually caught off camera. Whoops! Happy Chop does not have any issues with this Pokemon at all. We use a low sweep and we take it out. With Misty defeated, I wanted to go catch some more Pokemon, so I went over to Route 5 and caught myself a Powig. On Route 6, we found a Piplup, and we also caught that, and fused it immediately with our Eevee that we caught on Route 25, creating us this cute little ribbon of a Pip-V. On Route 11, we found a Dino, and we caught that as well. And for some reason, underneath the ground, there was a Pikachu, so we caught Pikachu. Our Lucap decided to evolve now that it was level 20, giving us Ludos. Hopra decides to evolve as well, and we get Skipbra. Pip-V evolves as well, and we get a Prinv. On the SSN, I was just about to go rub the captain, and then I was stopped by our rival again. He sends out this really icky looking Mishish, but given it is a ghost type, we needed to swap out into our new Ludos. I use a Spark to do little damage, and then a Bite because that is super effective against a ghost type. Then he had to send out his Lorelie, so I swap out into my Skipbra. Although Skipbra gets roared out, sending out my Happy Chop, which now that I think about it was probably the right choice of Pokemon to send out in the first case. I get roared again, and Shed2 comes out. Unfortunately, Shed2 was actually hit by a rock move, and instantly takes me out thanks to Wonder Guard. I am so sad because I've lost my first Pokemon. Feeling angry as all heck, I send out Prinv to hopefully do a little bit of damage. But this Lorelie is tanky. It does another roar and sends out Happy Chop. Thank God, time to do some low sweeps. I low sweep and low sweep again for the absolute win. Out comes this Kyrion, which looks so strange. I would actually say it's a scientist, right? Like, just look at it. Anyway, we take it out as well with another low sweep, and out comes his boss Pokemon, Palolurk, which looks like it has evolved and is now looking correct. So I decided to swap out into Ludos. I do Bite, which is super effective given it is a ghost Pokemon. I do one more, getting a flinch, and then one more again to secure the win. Sorry, Jacko, you're out. We gave the captain a little rub on the back, and he gave us the HM cut so we could go battle Surge. It's time to do a little fusion first. So I fused my Pikachu to my Dino, creating this really funny looking Picano. And our Bunroll decided to evolve into this thick woman, Lorelie. Alright, Surge was using Ice-type Pokemon, so it was time for our brand new Lorelie to shine. We just did High Jump Kick and just destroyed every single Pokemon he had. It wasn't even a challenge, I was having a bit of an LOL here. Tortgong though was an amazing looking Pokemon, one of the brand new Pokemon of our brand new sprites. It did survive a couple of shots and I was thinking, oh god, are you gonna beat me? But luckily I had returned and it did decent damage. Razor Leaf almost took me out. My heart, I tell you, it flew. But I was able to take it out with another return, and just like that, we have beaten Surge, the third gym leader. We decided to go catch a Geodude on Route 10. And we also caught a Polygon in Rock Tunnel. Over in the Pokemon Tower, our rival decided to show his face one more time and go for a battle. Jacko sends out a Lickygast, a pretty interesting looking Pokemon, but we use a Dragon Rage doing significant damage, in fact, doing a couple of them easily taking it out. Jacko with one Pokemon down ends up sending out his key Pokemon, Palolurk, so we swap up to a Ludos as we know that bites are super effective against his Pokemon. Would you look at that, it only took 3 bites to instantly take it out. Pretty easy, huh? So out comes his Delii, basically a Dawn-like Santa. It put up a pretty spirited fight, but our team emerged victorious. With only one Pokemon left, our rival sends out Villu, a fusion of Mew, which proved to be a formidable opponent. However, what we had to do was to play rough and it immediately took it out, giving us the victory against our rival. Whatcha! The fusion of Turtwig and Polygon resulted in the birth of Porrywig, a fascinating addition to our team. Meanwhile, Skipbro decided to evolve as well into the majestic Jumpra, unveiling its newfound strength. With our new Pokemon, we headed over to Celadon City, where we found our rival talking to some Team Rocket grunts, not happily, quite angrily. It turns out that Team Rocket are actually hiding out in the sewers, so Erkia comes in and decides not to battle us right away, but in fact become our ally. Together, we defeated all the Team Rocket grunts within the base and decided to take on Giovanni, the boss. But before doing so, our Happy Chop decided to evolve. Hoorah! He evolved into Happy Joke. It was now time to beat on Giovanni. Giovanni taking on both myself and Erkia. He sends out a Rayquaza and a Treeross. Rayquaza immediately takes out our Pokemon. Oh my god, we've already lost one Pokemon with a slam. That was fast. So we send out our Luxtos, hoping to get some revenge. Knowing that Rayquaza is both grass and dragon typing, we know an Ice Fang will immediately take it out, and it does. Giovanni sends out his Lairpon, which does do a pretty effective Rock Slide. Fearing for the life of Luxtos, we do in fact swap out. We send out our new Jumpra. With Pinran now out, we decided to do a Psybeam on Lairpon, but unfortunately we do get hit by 2 moves, resulting in the death of our poor Jumpra. Our Happy Trait comes out, and it is now time for some revenge. We use a Wake Up Slap, taking out Leros in 1 hit. Giga Drain almost taking out our Happy Choke, but that's okay because a Swift and a Low Sweep easily take out Treeross, giving us the victory over Giovanni. Now, we did a number of fusions on our Poriwig, so just get ready to watch all of them. I'm going to show them off real quick. Gotta say, I really love the Terra fusion line. Like, look at them, they look so amazing. And the final one, I actually got to choose this really cool sprite that had Sonic on its back. With our brand new Pokemon, it was time to go test out Erkia to see if she could stand up against our brand new Pokemon. Our Terra's download coming out, giving us some extra stats, and we decided to use an Earthquake against this Dust Cargo, doing about 70% of its health. Knowing that we can kill it with one more, we decide to go ahead and do it without getting hit by Confusion. Armorcake comes out, again another ground type Pokemon, so we think this will be a very good chance to do another Earthquake. Confusion missing again and allowing us to one-hit KO. Ninepiri comes out and it does force a swap. I use a knockoff just to remove the berry that he was holding, and then I decide to go for a wake up slap. But unfortunately, I was actually taken out by a slash, so we actually lost our Happy Choke, one of our favourite Pokemon ever. So I was really sad. We had to send out Lorelie and we decided to get some revenge. Our Play Rough almost taking it out, but our Leech Seed saps the last of its health, giving us the win against Miss Erkia. Back up Pokemon Tower, I go talk to the old man who gives us the Poke Flute, and before exiting the Pokemon Tower, I decide to go catch a Whirlpeed, just in case. We then decide to go wake up a snoring Snorlax and catch that. And on Route 7, we caught a Slackoth. I love this Pokemon, it's going to be so powerful. Especially when fused with our Snorlax, that thing is going to be a tanky beast. And it doesn't take very long for our little Pokemon to evolve one more time. And one more for good measure. Our Prinvy also decides to evolve, joining the party of evolutions. And we get Empovy. With that, it is time to take on Koga. Koga actually sends out this Scully Orb. This thing looks really cursed. I mean, it's got some horns, but it has nothing on our amazing looking Luxdos. Ice Fang doing just under 50%, but we are able to get the freeze off. This thing, Frozen Solid, has absolutely no chance of trying to beat Luxdos, and we do take it out. Out comes a Beat Chow. Ice Fang, again, freezing, unbelievable luck right now, and it goes down. Out comes his Bio, which is a Beetle and a Ho-Ho fusion, which looks phenomenal. Poison Jab does very little damage, and we do a Thunderfang, but he swaps out into his Butterick. Butterick actually does not survive that Thunderfang, and we take it out immediately. Poison Jab doing decent damage, but our Thunderfang plus a bit of Black Sludge takes it out, and we just beat Koga. Over in the Safari Zone, we only caught two Pokemon, a Rotom and a Carnivore. Now in Saffron City, it was time to beat Jacko, just before we had to go battle Giovanni. Jacko decides to send out his brand new Flareon, which is an amazing looking Flareon Dragon Fusion. Luckily, it doesn't take too long with a couple of Aqua Tails to take it out, then he has to send out his Gallade, but we have to swap out to our brand new Terra, who decimates most of these Pokemon with an Earthquake. Out comes Palolurk, and again, he does an Iron Defense, bulking up his defenses. A couple of Earthquakes starts to hurt him, and then he throws out a Giga Drain, almost taking us out, and forcing a swap into Lorelie. Lorelie says hello, and tanks a couple of Giga Drains while doing some Aqua Tails for decent damage. Giga Drain almost finishing us off, and again, we got a little bit scared, but an Aqua Tail does take it out. A High Kick takes out his Bidoof, and out comes this Litogella, which is quite powerful, so we had to send out our Salaxlax just to do a couple of body slams to take it out. And now we are up to Giovanni, the boss. He sends out two Pokemon, and we send out Raitress and Luxdos, these two amazing electric type Pokemon. Shadow Ball hits Raitress, but we're okay. Our Blizzard comes out as well, doing a decent amount of damage to Luxdos, forcing us to swap off to Slallax. Slallax is just so tanky. Another Shadow Ball hits Raitress, getting him down to about 2%. Blizzard comes out, knocking out Raitress, but doing very little to Slallax. A Gunk Shock actually does very good damage against his Glaceon fusion and takes it out immediately. Genshin actually survives a Gunk Shot because it is a tank, and we use Belly Drum to max our attack. We use a Slycop to regain some health, while Sludge Bomb doing very little damage. A Water Pulse does come out, almost taking out Musclash, but doesn't quite take him out. We go for a Body Slam on Slowpoke, actually getting a Paralysis, which is just phenomenal. Dark Pulse coming out one more time, taking out Palolurk. Our friend is gone, not without a little bit of revenge, as we are able to body slam that Pokemon down. So Giovanni sends out his cool new Victory Bell fusion, which actually does take our rival's Pokemon, but not after we use a body slam and take it out in one hit. It is now a 1-on-1, the Genshin versus our Empovy. And Empovy with an Aqua Jet takes it out very quickly. And just like that, we have no losses in this battle, but we have beaten Giovanni. He runs away, tail between his legs, and he leaves Silph Co for Mount Ember. We talk to the old dude who gives us a Chikorita for beating out Giovanni. We also go pick up the Master Ball, which is just on the floor below. Now with that all cleared out, it was time to take on Sabrina. She sends out this awesome Dusclax, which is obviously a Duskull and a Snorlax fusion. Wondering what to do, I use a Crunch and realize that it will be super effective, as Sabrina, using Ghost types, is very susceptible to all my crunches. Luxdos is going to be an MVP. Mamogon comes out. I use 2 crunches and are able to take it out. I was close to losing, but I was pretty confident in my abilities. But because I didn't want to lose my amazing Luxtos, I wanted to swap out, so I sent out my Lorelie. Lorelie uses a play rough doing decent damage. A max potion comes out giving him health, but that's okay. I'll use one more play rough and a play rough right after that to take it out. 2-hit KO. Out comes this awesome looking Dark Tongue. Doesn't take much, it just takes a play rough to take it out, and just like that we've beaten Sabrina. Then we made our way over to Cinnabar Island and quickly went to the Pokemon Mansion. I found this really cursed looking Blisma and obviously caught it because it is a Blissey. And Blissey is just such a tank, and I would really appreciate that going forward. We find Blaine hiding out being a little bit of a puss, and we send him back to the gym. But right after that, we fuse our Rotom that we caught in the Safari Zone with our Blissey, creating a Bliss Tom. And just like that, we're up to Blaine, who sends out an Abape. I mean, look at it, it has like a sword and everything, and it's pissed off. You can see little angry veins in its head, oh my god. Anyway, we use a Dragon Dance now that we've learnt that, and we keep on stacking our Dragon Dance, setting up hard on this Pokemon. One Aqua Tail easily takes it out. Out comes this Vaporchamp. We do have an electric move, so we take it out immediately. Out comes another Pokemon that is very susceptible to our move, and it survives on like 1 HP. A full restore comes out, and I'm thinking, as long as this thing doesn't outspeed us, we're good. And just like that, we are actually able to take it out, even though it looked so bloody cool. And his final Pokemon, a Deotop. I was scared of a Fake Out or a March Punch, so I did swap out, and I sent out my brand new Bliss Tom. I use a Toxic to do some damage, and stall it out. I use a Protect to allow another tick to go on, and then swap out to my Ponyta. Zen Headbutt doing a little bit of damage, but nothing we're too scared of. I use a Synthethist and burn this thing out. While I'm healing, it is taking more and more damage, and it cannot swap out to another Pokemon because it is the last Pokemon. This game is as good as mine. And with one more tick of poison, the Deotop falls. And just like that, we have beaten Blaine. We have beaten 7 of the gym leaders. I move myself over to Mount Ember and catch myself a Quagsire. I fuse my Quagsire with the Geodude that I got outside Rock Tunnel, creating a very tanky Pokemon, a Quagdude. Now I want a Quagdude because I need something to take on the Zapmulcuno fusion, and this is probably the best Pokemon to do so. It also evolves into this really ugly Quaggler, and then I evolve it one more time after a bit more training, and I get this really kind of cursed looking Quaglum. It was time to go find Giovanni within Mount Ember and battle him and his Zapmulcuno triple a legendary bird fusion. So I send out my Quaglum, my brand new cursed Pokemon, to do some serious damage. I use a Stone Edge hitting the Articuno and doing 100% of its health in one hit. Even then, we get to take a few shots and do the exact same thing on Moltres, taking it out. At this point I should have swapped out knowing that I was going to lose, but I didn't, so Quaglum did go down, but I was able to send out my Bliss Tom. I use a Toxic to make sure the Zapdos eventually dies, and I swap out once again to my Slilax, who is just such a tank. Even though he's paralyzed, I'm not too stressed because another Body Slam will take it out. And just like that, Body Slam takes it out. We have officially defeated Giovanni and spoiled his plans. And as a reward, we get to catch Moltres with our Master Ball that we received in Silph Co. Having found Giovanni hiding back in Viridian City in his gym, we decided to challenge him, the 8th and final gym leader. We sent out our Molsect, which we actually fused off screen, sorry about that, and it didn't really matter because Molsect went down in his first battle. I can tell you I was devastated. Losing Moltres that soon, that fast, was hard to deal with. Anyway, we sent out Luxtos and decided to do a Dragon's Dance. And we keep on doing Dragon Dance, setting up really hard on Giovanni. Crunch doing about 50% of his health, and a full restore comes out. Now we know we can start killing him. 2 crunches takes him out. Out comes Nidoking. Funny that it's got the same name as Nidoking, even though it is fused. I use a Thunderfang doing just over half, and do it once more, and we take it out. Out comes this really awesome Muswine. A skeleton muck, it's so cool, but it goes away really quick with one Aqua Tail. Out comes Regidude, a Regigigas fusion. We were able to take it out just as well. Giovanni's last Pokemon, Dongar, again, doesn't do anything to us with an Aqua Tail taking it out right away. And just like that, we have defeated all of the 8 gyms, and it was time to move on to the Elite Four. So this is our team. Emporion with Aqua Jet Surf, Brian and Flamethrower. Luxtos with Crunch, Thunderfang, Dragon Dance and Aqua Tail. Salax with Yawn, Body Slam, Belly Drum and Slack Off. Blistom with Protect, Hex, Soft Boil and Toxic. And Lorelie, Double Edge, Play Rough, Superpower and Aqua Tail. And Ponyta, Discharge, Earthquake, Synthesis and Signal Beam. With that team and those moves, it is time to take on Lorelie, first of the Elite Four. She sends out this awesome Trellix, a Trevenant and a Steelix fusion. Knowing that Flamethrower is super effective, I do that, and I instantly take it out. Again, another Flamethrower takes out the next Pokemon, as does another Flamethrower taking out Treedos. So far, Lorelie has been quite easy. She sends out a Sunkeon, but given my health, I decided it might be safest to swap out to another Pokemon for now. So I send out my Slacklax. Slacklax easily tanking a Leaf Storm. Double Edge does a little bit of damage, but my Body Slam and my fat weight, it takes it out right away. One more comes out, a Snorgrowth. Hey buddy, you look exactly like me. He does a Belly Drum, bit of a copycat, and my Body Slam luckily hits all of his health immediately. And Lorelie just was defeated. So easy. So we moved on to Bruno, hoping that the flying type Elite Four member had a little bit extra for us. Bruno sends out his Honchkario. Pretty cool looking Honchcraw and a Lucario fusion, but I use a Play Rough doing significant damage, a Foul Play comes through doing very little damage, and my last Play Rough finally takes it out. King comes out, and I've got to say this is one of the coolest looking Pokemon. I mean, that Trident says everything. My Play Rough does about 60% of his health, and I'm feeling pretty confident here. A Citrus Berry does heal me back up, allowing me to continuously use a Play Rough with a bit more confidence. Estra comes out, so I'm forced to swap out into my Bliss Tom. I use Toxic to put a Toxic on it, however Estra's ability also pushed Toxic back onto me, so that was a bit of an L. However, my Hex was able to do all its health in one shot. Out came this really cool looking Duck Fairy. Given that I was poisoned, I wanted to swap out as well, so I sent out my Poriterra. A Feint Attack came out and did very little damage. I was kind of laughing at that time. So I decided to go for a Signal Beam, and I did a little bit of damage, but not a lot. Somehow, Dark Fairy hit Hypnosis and started hitting me with Nightmare. Now this is a scary combination because I'm not quite used to battling Pokemon that use Nightmare and Hypnosis. The fact that I didn't swap out here kills me. I really should have, and because I didn't, I actually lost Poriterra at the second Elite Four member. So I sent out my Empoleon to get some revenge. I couldn't believe what was happening. I was put into Hypnosis, and again a Nightmare put upon me. My Flamethrower takes it out, and I cheer. Thank God that thing is gone. Out comes a Cradon. I do about 30% of its health with a single Flamethrower. It's not enough. I need to do more damage. So I have to send out to another Pokemon. I send out Slallax. Slallax eats up that energy ball like it was a dessert. I use Yawn. Wanting to put it to sleep after this next turn. As expected, it goes to sleep. I do a Belly Drum, and I think we all know what's about to happen here. I slack off. I use Body Slam, but it didn't do that much damage despite being completely maxed out in attack. This Cradon is tanky. He used Swallow, which actually reduced all his defenses sharply, allowing me and my Body Slam to take it out. And just like that, we have been Bruno, and we moved on to Agatha. Agatha sends out this awesome looking Abmence. Not too worried because I know my Lorelie can easily take it out with a Play Rough, as it does. That future side no longer will happen. Having sent out Mudix, I send out my Luxdos, knowing that a Thunder Fang will be super effective and will take it out in a single hit, as it did. Now out came Dragon Duck. I needed to swap into something that could tank its hit, so I sent out Slacklax. Slacklax doing a Body Slam twice, almost taking it out. The third, luckily it did. Out comes this Lorelie. Really funny looking Pokemon, but again, a Body Slam does over 50%, it must be running scared. Body Slam hits it the second time, connects, and does take it out completely. Out comes his last Pokemon, a Nilocian. I love this is really pretty. This is just a Melodic and a Persian mashed together. I was a little worried about my health, so I decided to slack off, just as well as that Hydro Pump came out first and hit hard. I went for a Body Slam, doing about 40%. It woke up and did another Hydro Pump, and at this point I was getting really worried because it could actually outspeed me. I was thinking, do I do a Body Slam or do I swap? Playing it safe, I decided to swap to my Lorelie, who will easily tank a Hydro Pump given its water typing. I cannot believe what I just did. I hovered over Aqua Tail but decided not to do it, even though that Pokemon only had 1 HP and that was a priority move. Stupid me. Aqua Jet does take it out and I feel good about that. So I have beaten Agatha, but I did lose one of my most powerful Pokemon, my Lorelie. Knowing that the next fight is in fact against Lance, I was a bit worried to go up against Lance without Lorelie, knowing that Lorelie was one of my main Pokemon. I set up on this Pokemon really hard. I used Dragon Dance over and over and over again. I want to make sure that I can take out Lance without having to worry about all my other Pokemon dying. Oh my god. I use a Crunch, and it immediately takes out this Pokemon. That was really easy. Out comes this ugly looking Executor. I use a Crunch, and again, one shot it. Salanite comes out, and I'm thinking this is a very cool looking Pokemon. And it actually does survive a Crunch, and oh my god, it took me out. My Luxdos is gone. I am losing my powerhouse. I am losing the Pokemon that can really do any harm against Lance and the champion. I do a Body Slam, it does a paralysis, but a full restore comes out giving it all its HP back. Another Body Slam in fact does paralyze, and I'm feeling really good. I tank a Dragon Claw and am able to take out this Pokemon with one more Body Slam. Out comes this Tricot. It's Horn Leech doing a little bit of damage, but not quite enough. I do a yawn to hopefully put it to sleep. But then a Woodhammer comes off before I can get off my slack off, and I feel terrible. I just lost Slallax. I only have 2 Pokemon left to beat the rest of Lance's Pokemon as well as our champion. Luckily, Empoleon is able to take out that Pokemon, and now we're just up against this Mewtails, a Mewtwo and a Ninetales fusion. I use an Aqua Jet to seal the deal, and we have beaten Lance. Well, that was close, but I am not feeling all that confident against our rival, Jacko. Jacko sends out Gligar. This awesome, like seriously guys, it is so cool. Look at that. I decide to go for a Hex, hoping to do damage, but really it doesn't do that much. It's Ice Body, in fact healing it over time. Jacko uses a full restore as I use a soft boiled. We're back up to full. Crunch comes out, doing about 40% of my health. At this point, this Gligar is winning, and he does it one more time, getting it before me, taking me out. My last Pokemon, my Empoleon. Flamethrower does work and takes out his Pokemon immediately. Out comes this Dusksaur. I'm thinking, okay, it is also a grass type, so Flamethrower should be pretty effective. I do it again and again, but he uses a full restore, but I did get a burn off. This is good. A full restore removes the burn and takes him back to full health. My Flamethrower takes it down to about 10% late HP, but then a Shadow Ball comes out and does take me out. Guys, I lost. I can't believe it. My Pokemon have been defeated. This Nuzlocke ended in a fail. Oh, let me know down in the comments below what you would have done. Like, how could I have survived this? This was just so unfortunate. I lost such good Pokemon. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. It goes such a long way. Thanks for watching. In the next run, a Brock run.